In this video, we will go over the use and functionality of Conversation API's metadata. We will take a look at metadata in your request, callbacks, and when they are retrieved. Conversation API offers various endpoints that utilizes metadata in some way. Metadata are API fields that come in two flavors. They can either be used by you to attach and retrieve a context when sending and receiving messages, or can be provided by the API containing relevant information. Working with Conversation API allows you to store metadata on three entities: message, conversation, and contact. These are provided in your requests and will be recalled in subsequent callbacks, or can directly be retrieved when requesting the respective entity. Let's take a closer look at our API request and callback formats. Starting off, the send message request allows you to provide the following three metadata fields. Firstly, message metadata is data attached to the created message entity and will be returned in the delivery receipt as metadata. This data should be associated with this specific message. Secondly, conversation metadata, which is data for the current conversation and will be returned in the inbound message callback as message metadata. This gets saved on the conversation entity and can be set to either replace or merge with pre-existing data using the conversation metadata update strategy. Lastly, there is Correlation ID, which is used as your own message identifier for subsequent callbacks. This is saved on the conversation entity and will replace the previous Correlation ID. Over at our contact APIs, when creating a contact, you can provide metadata, which will persist with this contact entity. Each callback contains top-level metadata. These are message metadata, which will depend on the callback type; correlation ID, which is the value provided in the latest send message request; and channel metadata, which is controlled by Conversation API and provides additional channel-specific data. After sending a message request, you'll first immediately receive a confirmation with a message submit notification callback, and after the request has been processed, a delivery report callback. Both will contain the same metadata. Here, the metadata field contains the message metadata provided in the send message request, and the top-level message metadata is controlled by Conversation API and will provide data specific to the underlying channel. When receiving a message back from the end user, you'll get a message inbound callback. Here, metadata will contain channel-specific data, for example, a choice response for choice messages. Now, the top-level message metadata will contain the associated conversation metadata formatted as a string. Outside the send and receive flow, you can retrieve your metadata at any time from all your message, conversation, and contact entities. You can see your message metadata by either retrieving one message or by listing multiple messages using the corresponding requests. You can also change the metadata with an update message metadata request. Similarly, you can retrieve one or multiple conversations, which will contain the conversation metadata as metadata JSON and the correlation ID, provided in the send message request. These can be changed by simply using the Update a Conversation request. Finally, and in the same way, you can retrieve one or list multiple contacts to see your contact's metadata. This is again altered with the Update a Contact request. You can learn more about how our metadata works on our developers and community pages.